I shouldn't do these countdown things. Every time I'm watching it counting down to zero, I'm like, what am I gonna say? What am I gonna say? Yo, what's up, internet? I'm back. If you don't know me, I'm James. I am a product designer, and in these streams, I'm working on the design for a hardware digital drum machine. It's a collaborative project that I'm working on with some friends, and I'm responsible for mechanical design, industrial design, a little bit of UX, that kind of thing. And in the streams, I'm working in SolidWorks Connected, and you're currently looking at a potentiometer. But this is the product at the state that it's at. It's going to be something roughly this size with, you know, some buttons, some knobs, those kinds of things. These are sort of placeholders at the moment. I've got some jacks in there, and I've got a Raspberry Pi because that's going to be the prototyping platform that we use, but we'll probably find some other system on module for the final product, as it's going to be software that powers the device. So that's enough of an intro. Yeah, so if you're into this kind of stuff, follow along. You might learn some SolidWorks tricks, and feel free to ask any questions you have. And as always, I want to say hey to Elk. Thank you so much for joining again, my brother. Great to have you here. And how are you doing? I listened to that new song that you uploaded today or yesterday. I was listening to it, I don't know, like 30 minutes ago. Nice stuff, man. Very cool. And I like the visuals too. You know what? Let's give our boy a little shout out right here. Top of the show. Let's see what unsigned in YouTube suggests. Elk Wrath. This one. Have we got any sound? Hopefully you don't copyright strike me. Yeah, this is definitely a vibe. You can definitely feel this on my somewhat. Working on some sci-fi sound design, hell yeah. Particularly focused on sound effects for computer interfaces in caves. That sounds very specific, but good. And I just realized that, of course, as always, wasn't showing my screen. This is the video I was watching. Hell yeah. Later, come here, press this button, listen to this, put this back to here, listen to it again. It's good shit. No, but seriously though, it's definitely got some cool video game vibes. I like it. Alright, I gotta get my drawing back up because in the last stream I didn't quite finish modeling this potentiometer, so I'm gonna attempt to do that today. Move this across a little bit so I can see the drawing. Wait, let me see. By the way, it feels like the chat might be a bit more delayed today than normal, and also I got a message on the YouTube dashboard that my streaming bitrate was lower than usual, and I think that's controlled by restream, so apologies if there's a lot of delay today. I'm not sure why, maybe it's just the restream servers. It was really to test out the color grading and need something dystopian to lay over it. Well, both of them are cool, man. Look good on Twitch. Okay, good. Yeah, I like the footage too. You said you shot that somewhere near your place, right? Like the vibes. Definitely, I can see the Blade Runner vibes. Someone commented that. I could also see like a 12-second delay. Shit. Okay, that's not great. The video was also giving me a little bit of like The Last of Us vibes, even though the color grading isn't really like that in The Last of Us. It's just that kind of scenery, but also like, you know, the sound was not that kind of sound design, but purely just the camera angle and the river and stuff was giving me a bit of Last of Us vibes. May do that too. Yeah, that'd be cool. I can't even remember what the sound design was like that in that show, but it's good. Have some badass nature stuff. You know, I've seen a guy that that used to take a lot of like videography, like shots like that, where it's like it's still camera moving, natural kind of stuff, and he would do a lot of like overlaying them on top of each other and like changing transparency levels and changing transfer modes and stuff. That can look really cool, like overlaying multiple layers of like natural things can look super cool. The stuff I'm doing right now is sort of Mandalorian style. Hell yeah, man. Love the Mandalorian. Anyway, let's keep talking about this, but I need to get into this as well. I can't exactly remember what I was going to do last time, but maybe I should... yeah, I was going to add more to this front sketch so that I could put the pins and stuff in there. So I might do that. High nasally resonant sound. Are we talking about me right now or the Mandalorian? Hopefully my lights aren't making a weird noise. Do drummer and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't mean we need to stop talking. I just needed to sort my shit out for a second. Okay, so the pins look something like this from the front. Can zoom in a bit. So let's draw that. This will be like that, and then there's a weird trick in SolidWorks where if you draw a line from a point like this, but then bring the mouse back to the point and then go down, it starts a curve. Don't know why it does that, but it's very useful. Make these equal. And this is already tangent because of the way that I drew it. So it's definitely a nice shortcut. Let me hide this for a second and show this. So this little ledge on the legs needs to be the same height as these legs, because that's where the pins meet the PCB. So that's the top of the PCB there. Okay. So yeah, my top plane, it lands on the top plane. Then I need this to align up with where I put them on the top sketch already. Oops. Why didn't that work? What the heckin' dog? So tell me more, Elk. What's the plan? Who are you going to target for the portfolio, or who are you going to target to aim some music towards, some soundscape stuff? Well, you don't need to say who, but maybe like what style, I guess. Okay, this needs to be 0.8 millimeters wide, plus or minus 1, and I can actually add in that tolerance, even though it won't do anything to the model. just it'll show up in drawings. So I want a symmetric tolerance, plus or minus. It's going to be plus or minus 0.1 millimeters. And I'll just make it to the nearest decimal point. Okay. And the length of these pins, I think I put in I put in this right plane, so actually need some straight lines here to reference. Actually, I don't need that. I'll just do this. And make that horizontal. Okay, I need 4 copies of this. But Elk, how's yeah, tell me more. what's going on? I didn't want you to stop talking. Have you made a LinkedIn account yet? What time is it, by the way? All right. Not sure yet. I'm actually starting learning some game development. Okay, so I can make interactive dioramas for my sound design teams. Dude, that's a sick idea. Right now I'm working on digital subterranean cavernous sounds. The goal would be to develop a scene in a game maker and have an NPC interact with a computer console to open a door in a cave, etc. Dude, I mean, talk about like making it more complicated than it needs to be, but that is that is my jam. I always do that kind of shit. Like I'll be like, I want to design and build a guitar. I'm like, yeah, but to make a guitar, I need a CNC machine. But buying a CNC machine is expensive, so I should design and build my own CNC machine. And then you're like, years down the track, trying to perfect a fucking CNC machine, you're like, wait a minute, I was meant to be designing a guitar. Yeah, I opened up Game Maker and said, oh no, what am I doing to myself? Yep. But that can be fun too, so I always thought I wanted to be a musician, and I like being a musician, but what I realize is that I actually like making music gear or designing music gear more. So, not saying that you're going to end up a game developer, but it's not out of the question. But no, I think you should be able to do that without like having to invest 6 months of your life learning how to develop games. Like I've seen the way you work. I know you can get shit done quick. But the way I see it is that I'll have an extra skill that may be useful to a small studio, and it will have a very tightly controlled presentation of my concepts. Yeah, and I mean, you're learning skills that are completely relevant to the industry. So even though they're not going to hire you to develop the game, the fact that you're interested in it and that you've tried it out and stuff, and you're aware of like the constraints of gaming worlds, game development and stuff, I think that only makes them go, oh, okay, he's into this shit. It's a really cool idea, man, and really creative way to present the music too, like showing it in context. I think that's fucking genius, dude. Wish I had thought of that. Wish I had thought of that to give it to you as advice. And I'd have an understanding of what to record and how it gets implemented down the road. Yeah, exactly. That is so true, man. Like, having tried putting it in a game yourself, then you will have a better understanding of like, okay, if I'm working for this person who is making this game and they want to put my music in there, you'll know all the constraints that you have and all, how long loops should be and how things should evolve and everything. Like, yeah, totally think you're onto the right track there. Fucking genius. Well, we'll see how it pans out. I have to do some research on what is available for free or an engine that will be better fit for my skill level. Well, I mean, by no means am I that I'm not like super knowledgeable in that field, but I am like pretty interested in the whole 3D rendering and 3D animation kind of software world. And from what I've heard, Unreal Engine seems like I've heard like short movie makers, like guys who shoot stuff and do CGI and stuff, and they also dabble in, I don't know if you've heard of Corridor Digital on YouTube. They've talked about like Blender and Unreal Engine, and they talk about it like they can't believe how amazing it is that software like Blender and Unreal Engine are available for free. And I mean Unreal Engine especially, because you think about the best looking games in the world right now are being made in Unreal Engine, and Unreal Engine is completely free. It's like very accessible to start learning it. Like it's all node based and stuff. You don't need to do any programming if you don't want to. There's so many resources available to learn, so many packages, like like all the Quixel Megascans and stuff, like terrain that you can bring into your 3D environments and stuff. It's all available for free and like super crazy good quality, That would be my go-to to check out first. Like from what I've heard, it's pretty accessible to get into, and it's also like industry leading, and it's free. It's like, what more can you ask for? But I've never used it before, so not speaking from experience. Okay, let me add some pins. Actually, first, this plate really needs to be like offset inwards a little bit. Need to find that picture. RV. Wait, no, I have pictures in here. Yeah, see how this kind of looks like this is a bit inset from the plastic? I think I need to give it that kind of look. I'm putting in way more detail than is required, but fuck it. like for my 3D model to work and for me to manufacture it, this is already enough detail in this model, but if I want to do 3D rendering and stuff, might as well make it look real. So yes, so I'm going to what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Alright, I think I need to move this. This is for sure gonna break some stuff, but that's alright. Gotta break some eggs to make an omelette, am I right? In terms of other game engines and stuff, I mean, to me, like, from my knowledge, the big two are Unreal and Unity. And from friends who work in the gaming world, people have been telling me that Unity is really going a bit downhill. And I've looked at the stock prices recently, and it was kind of diving a lot, and they laid off a lot of people. So, you know, like, I don't know what the future of Unity is, but at the same time, Apple just released this VR headset, and they announced a collaboration with Unity. So maybe Daddy Tim Apple is gonna save them. Maybe people start using Unity again, I don't know. But also, like, what I've heard is that Unreal is like miles ahead of Unity. I may hop on that, plus the camera I'm looking at would be a good fit. Wait, are you saying you're gonna hop on Unity? I say go for Unreal. I mean, that would be my first place to try, I think. I kind of want to work on isometric games or pixelated games. Okay. Do you mean like 3D or 2D? I'm looking at Unreal 5 right now, lol. Yeah, I mean, from what I've heard for 3D, like realistic looking stuff, I think Unreal is probably the cat's pajamas. I think you can also do 3D more kind of pixelated stuff. It just depends on the shaders and stuff that you use. But if you want something that's like quite lightweight, 2D stuff I think would be more fun. What's one my friend mentioned to me the other day? I think there's one called Godot or Godot or something. I don't know how it's pronounced. Give me a second, I'll look it up. I think it's even open source, and I think it's free as well. Godot engine. Free and open source 2D and 3D game engine. So yeah, this is probably good for more like retro style stuff. Don't know how easy it is to use, being that it's open source. There might be better, more advanced softwares that are also free, I don't know. But apparently this one's pretty lightweight, and yeah, so that could be a good option too. I don't know why I received 2D indies as being more whimsical. True, but you play a lot of You play a lot of like AAA games and stuff though, right? If it were me, I would learn Unreal, but I'm into like realistic 3D rendering and stuff. Okay, so I've offset that line a little bit, and then this is the, oops. Oops. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Wait, no, that's not what I wanted. Shit. Yeah, because this line should be equal to that width. I'll just leave it how it was. And I'll just put some little lines here to indicate that it continues. Sometimes I wonder when I'm doing this if anybody is would actually pay enough attention to these little things I'm doing to give a shit. So you said yeah a bit. I'm assuming you mean when I said you play like AAA games. My only worry would be like doing 2D game, retro game kind of stuff. Like it is definitely a vibe, but I feel like it's less common. So it might be kind of limiting your options a little bit. Maybe that's not true, I don't know. But also, I mean, you can shoot for whatever you want to shoot for. So don't let me stop you. Yeah, I like to think of small projects as stepping stones. Yeah, that's a fair point. Fair, very fair point. Yeah, man, maybe it's good to learn some 2D stuff before trying the 3D stuff. I'd probably crack under pressure working on something big with high stakes. Oh, right, we're talking about like the scale of the game, I guess. Yeah, but I mean, I think that there are just as maybe one day, but right now the focus is just on getting studio interested and someone small. Yeah, but I mean, I think that 3D games can also be small studios and small projects. Like I don't think necessarily like smaller projects are more likely to be a 2D game. If that makes sense. Okay, that's what I wanted. To offset this edge a little bit like this. And maybe it should be more than that, probably. It's this dimension. make it 0.2. Now also I didn't do this little, that little curve there. Well, sure, I will absolutely work on all projects, but for my portfolio stuff, I think making the dioramas in a 2D environment would be satisfactory. Yeah, totally. I think the idea is still totally valid and genius, in my opinion. The whole diorama thing, I think you're definitely onto something there. I mean, you could see it in how popular that video was that you made with the compression divers, right? Like the combination of seeing the compression divers with that like really tense music, that was like a great combo, you know? It really gave you like an atmosphere of the pressure of pressure diving. So yeah, I think for sure, like having the visuals to go with it, having some visuals that match the vibe, it's like, it's a really good idea. Okay. How am I going to do this curved part? I have no idea what that should look like. Gonna put this up here. And I really want to appreciate not being mistaken for a saturation diver. And I really appreciate not being mistaken for a saturation diver. Yeah, wait, I missed another video. Video message. I enjoyed it, and people have been commenting on that. My last comment said that I should try get into film scoring. Yeah, I think that's definitely the vibe that it gives off, the music. Good to hear it reiterated. Really appreciate not being mistaken for a saturation diver. Yeah, that's sick that like somebody recognized. So at least you know that it's not just popular because they think you're a compression diver. It's the whole vibe of it. It's the music and the video. It's like they work well together. All right, so I guess what I want is like, shit, how am I gonna do this? Okay, I'm actually gonna disconnect that. Gonna worry about that later. Okay, just to avoid breaking things. Um, I've got another suggestion or question for you, but I don't I don't want it to make it like, hey, here's more work for you to do. But have you considered making a website? Like even if it's just something really simple, like a really simple one pager with some, like a nice layout and some branding and stuff. Maybe just some embedded audio or embedded video and contact details. Like just a really simple one page portfolio. Not yet. I'm not confident in my portfolio examples yet. That's fair. Maybe you can. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Maybe you should check if you can get a good domain name and maybe reserve it in case you can find a good name. Hopefully nobody watches this and tries to reserve it first and then extort you for it. I won't do it, I promise. Had someone do that to me. I need to create an Elcrath SoundCloud too. Don't worry, I publish it under multiple artists. Well, yeah. But if you can get something, it's nice to reserve something. I have a theory about what happened with my domain name because I wanted to get jamesdebono.com. And my theory is that, like, I was trying to think for ages who would have reserved it. Like, is it somebody called James DeBono and they've just been sitting on it for ages and haven't made a website? I looked up when it was reserved, and it was like the end of 2010, I think. And at that point, I wasn't studying yet, and I wasn't DJing yet. Because at one point I thought maybe it was my old booking agent from when I was a DJ. But it wasn't. Well, at least I don't think it is, because it was reserved before. No, it definitely wasn't, because it was reserved before I knew him. And I was like, who would have reserved it? And I realized that it was reserved around the time that I was working as a subcontractor. And when I was doing that, I had to sign up to get an Australian business number as like a sole trader, is what we call it in Australia. And yeah, it was around that time. And what I think it is that some company, or maybe it's even GoDaddy themselves, they watch the registries of like newly registered companies and newly registered freelancers, and as soon as somebody registers as a business, they take that business name and buy the domain name so that they own it. And then when your business starts doing well and you want to have a website, you have to buy it from them. And at some point I asked, because it was reserved with GoDaddy, and they have this service where like they can contact the owner of the domain. And I did that. I thought, fuck it, I'll see how much they want. If it's like a couple $100, I'll do it. Yeah, it's so aggravating, man. I was like, if it's a couple $100, I'll do it. Fuck it. And so I did this service. I think I paid like $100 to try to get in contact with whoever owned it. And they were like, yeah, so we got in contact with them. He wants $10,000. I was like, get fucked. It's so scummy. Like, and I thought maybe there is a guy with my name who actually bought it, and he's thinking like, oh, I still want to use this website, so I should hold on to it or whatever. But then a friend of mine recently, like last year, or I think it was last year or the year before, he registered a new business, and straight after he registered the business, he looked into making a website, and they were his exact company name had just been registered, and like it's a really random company name, so it's not like anybody would have had the same idea. And I was like, that's confirmed it 100%. That's what they're doing. Some company or GoDaddy themselves are just watching the registry of new companies, and as soon as someone registers a company, they buy the domain name, which is so shitty. And then they try and charge you $10,000 for it. It's $12 a year for a domain. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm saying, like, look into it now, and if you can find a good one, just reserve it now, because yeah, $12 a year is nothing. I think I've got like 3 or 4 domains now, and paying $50 a year total for it. And I think Google Domains is like pretty good pricing. I do it on Google Domains just because can link it to my Google account and stuff. Maybe I'm giving out too much information, but whatever. But yeah, I think it's definitely worth reserving it because it doesn't cost that much, and at least then you have it. I wonder what suffix I should use. Yeah, .com. I think if you can get a .com, get it, because it's the easiest for. Well, I mean, I'm not a SEO guy, but I've got friends who are, and .com is the easiest to optimize for SEO. So when people Google you and stuff, it's the most commonly known domain name. So usually it's the first option, and if it's not available, then you try and find something else. But even a lot of people, if the .com isn't available, they'll just try and find a different .com, because .com is really useful for SEO. So yeah, I'd say get a .com if you can. Yeah, scumbags for sure. Done deal. Nice work, man. Yeah, so my advice to anyone starting a business is buy the domain name before you register the business. Don't tell anyone what the business name is until you've bought a domain name. Because, yeah, man, that's so shitty that people can do that. Oops. But I have a good domain name now. Like, I'm happy with it. I don't need the jamesdebono.com. I've got james-debono.com, which I think is more than good enough. I'm never going to pay $10,000 for the full one. So whoever owns it, fucking give up, because it's not happening. I've got 2 other. I've also got jamesdebono.net. So like, I'm happy. So yeah. Scum lords. Gotta get that Debobo. Yeah. At least it's memorable. Now how am I gonna... Well, first I need to do this. Okay, sick. Got my domain finalized. Hell yeah. Luckily Elkarath is actually the translation of my middle name. It's uncommon. Yeah, it's perfect. Dude, that feels like a win. To have the chance to save you from someone stealing your domain name. So good. Anyone who's watching this as a recording, get wrecked. You missed out. Good advice. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if people in America do the same thing. Like, if it is GoDaddy, I'm sure they're probably just watching all the new business registries in a bunch of different countries. Even though the guy I'm working with legit has a website. Or fuck, what's his name? The guy learning all the brass instruments from the mod forum. Alright, how am I gonna make these? Bluetech, yeah. How am I gonna make these the same distance? Maybe like that? No. Not quite. That works, I think. Then I can define this width. I like João little SoundCloud portfolio, and I'm going to steal the idea. Been slowly writing him and emailing him for the last couple of hours, but keep getting distracted. His SoundCloud portfolio, I haven't seen it. Is it just like his SoundCloud profile? What's unique about it? Like, what's the idea that you're gonna steal? It's like some of his sound design stuff. Ah, okay. Didn't know he did that kind of stuff. Also, sorry to the Portuguese for my pronunciation of João. I've been focused on making music, but I consider myself to be a sound designer rather than a musician. Yeah, I think that's accurate. Sounds accurate. Hmm. Wait a minute. Maybe I'll just define this angle. Guess that would be how they would do it for manufacturing. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I think sound designer is the right word that you're going for. The right type of role that you're going for, I guess. I will leave the music to the people who have something to say. I just like building atmospheres. Well, that's saying something too, right? It's just not like verbally saying something, but it's still emotionally conveying a feeling or a story, I guess. I see what's going on here. just realized that I know how much these things stick out. Okay. So don't define that thickness. I will make that horizontal. Yes. Nice. Okay, maybe that's good. Yeah, I mean, do whatever tickles your fancy, you know? If the sound design is the thing that you like, then that's what you want to do. Yeah, true. I suppose I've used songs as like a specific message. Atmosphere and ambience says nothing but definitely affects the mood. Yeah, I guess it's semantics, but I feel disingenuous calling myself a musician. Noise artist, no doubt. Vibe curator, hell yeah. Musician, no. I mean, I would still call you a musician. But yeah, sound design, I don't know. I guess you can say that it is like, it's like audible vibe, right? It's like vibe designer. But sound design can also be like, it, you might be supporting visual things. Like sound design in a game, it might not just be that you create like a loop and that it continues repeating, but there might be things where something will happen in the game that needs to trigger a moment in sound. Like there might be a point where in a horror game something jumps out and scares the shit out of you, and there is a sound that happens in that moment and like some reverberation after that to like wind down from this epic intense moment that just happened. So it's not just creating a vibe, but it's also like supporting the story. Like it follows a story, and it emphasizes the vibe of the story. When you get a chance to play Death Stranding, the guy who did the majority of the music for the game was actually hired on as a sound designer who happened to make music. Kojima loved his music, and he took over the majority of the audio for the game. Ah, okay. Right, so he did the sound design and then ended up doing the music as well. That's pretty crazy. Must be good. It just goes to show that those worlds aren't so far apart after all. That was meant to be here. But his sound design was amazing, and I'm far more interested in that. He passed away last year at 39. Oh shit. That's not good. So young. It was sudden. Jesus. The band is called Low Roar? Oh, he was in a band as well? Okay, I need to cut out these pins. I can't cut this round shape on this because it's a curved edge, so I'm just going to cut it straight and then fillet it, I think. I'm going to hide this body. Yeah, it was his band. Kojima wanted him for sound design and effects, but listened to his music and ended up using his discography for most of the game. Wanted him for the sound design and effects, but listened to his music. Dude, that's sick. Fuck. Hang on. That's a pretty cool story. How did you find out about it? Is it like a video about it or something, or a dev blog, or? Shit. It's because I love Death Stranding. Okay. When you love it enough, you find out. Alright, this is starting to look like something. Now I'm going to do some full round fillets. Oops. One here. Okay, that looks pretty close to how it's supposed to, I think. Similar. I'll probably add a lot more fillets at some point. Like, I feel like there needs to be a fillet here. Tiny fillet. I don't need to do this now, I'm just doing it for the hell of it. Alright, sick as... that looks a bit more accurate. Now let's do some pins. So what gave you the idea for the cave and the computers and stuff? Just like imagining a scenario and trying out some music to fit that. Just gonna extend these pins into the body a little bit for the hell of it. So it seems like they're going somewhere. I love exploration games. Okay. But that sound, the sound themselves, I started recording as I was testing my effect chain. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's also a nice way to do it. Like, yeah, like starting with the sound and then picturing the vibe for it. Mm. And the chain led me into sounds that gave me specific ideas on how to use it. Yeah, that's cool. I'm a big fan of exploration games too. How do you think you'll go, like, so if someone presented you an environment, or like, wait, I actually need to reduce reverb down a bit as a space. I'm imagining with the sound a slightly smaller one, and if it's a natural cave, the sounds currently recorded would be good for like a large metallic room. Yeah, that makes sense. And you could even do like convolution reverb in 3D spaces. Maybe that's a little bit over the top. Yeah, what I was gonna say is, how do you think you would go if like, if a dev comes to you and says like, okay, so we got this like level where, I don't know, just for like some random example, we got a level where you're gonna be in, I don't know, in a forest, and it's wet, and like there's leeches attacking you or something, like something you're not expecting. How do you think you would go, like thinking about that environment and imagining what sounds could fit that environment? So like the opposite way, rather than making the music and then thinking about what environment fits that music, because they might come to you first, like, we've got this scene and we want you to design the sound for that scene. So then you have to think about it in the opposite direction, like, okay, if I got this environment, what would that sound like, or what would be a cool vibe for that place? If you know get what I mean. Shit, what have I done wrong? God damn it. Okay, that's good. Quit adding more work. Well, I mean, I'm just asking, like, just to prompt you, because that's probably gonna be how it goes, right? Some are created patches for synths covering particular sounds. I have water drops, winds, bats, crickets, birds, etc. all synthesized. Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's probably good to have like a collection, like a library of sounds that you can pull out of the bag when you need them. Let me see if I can subtract these bodies. I don't want to keep those bodies. I want to make these little holes but keep the bodies. So I think I need to not do that. Go move copy bodies. Copy these. Copy. Okay. And hide these. Combine main body. Subtract. Boom. Boom. And why did the color change? So I'd start with looking at the environment. Hopefully a diorama of the scene is provided. Yeah, I guess at least, or even like a, yeah, even like I mean, I imagine the sound design comes fairly late in the development process, so I imagine they would even have like potentially like a playable game at that point. For the unexpected stuff, either bursts of noise or perhaps a string hit, depends on the atmosphere. Jungle theme would need tom/bongo bass percussion if I were to use it. Something light and bouncy. What if it was like really depressing forest vibes? Like it's dark and you're dying. I'm like giving you tests now. I'm giving you some homework. Why can't this just keep the fucking appearance that I gave it? Oh well. There we go. The Strager would be good scenes to experiment with. Maybe very dark reverb and an atonal drone. Throw in some animal samples using... Oh, that could be cool. Yeah, I think you've got a knack for it. I was just like probing to see like, because I think that that's probably the way that it's going to work. Like they're going to come to you with an environment and probably with like a mostly playable game, and they're going to be like, make music to fit this. So I was just probing you to think about like how would you go with it. I think you'll handle it though. Samples of breaking branches, make a vignette coming in. Hell yeah. The gears are turning already. I can see you've got lots of ideas. Okay, I need to figure out how to make different length shafts. How am I going to do some different length shafts? Should I make the shaft, this turnable part, as a different body from this one? Potentially. Actually, yeah, that was helpful, not only for the audio, but for the diorama ideas too. Thank you. Thank you too for that. No worries, man. I don't know. I'm just, spitballing, but if it helps, then that's cool. You gonna make a forest diorama now? Possibly. Keen to see it. Alright. Let's adjust this. For now, I'm just going to do it like this. I need to get one of these potentiometers so I can see it IRL. I don't need these. Because there'll probably be like a little gap here, and and then a shaft that goes down. Oops, what did I do? That's what I want. Revolve. Sketch is currently open. Ah, yeah, that's all good. Okay, maybe that gap is too big. Go 0.1. Yeah, that's good. Put a thread on this. I did make a forest track. Sorry, I missed this message. I did make a forest track before with some of the sounds I was describing. Lol. Okay, so you've already got a good idea for it. That's good. I guess like building up your own dioramas based on songs that you've made before, there'll be things that you can refer back to, and there'll be things that a potential employer can refer back to. Be like, I want it like kind of in this vibe of this song that you made, but like with a bit of this or a bit of this. So it's kind of like you're showing them a menu of some sort. Let me see if I can do a thread feature. It's automatically set the pitch. I don't want inch die, I want metric die. M7. That looks too big. Well, it's not meant to affect that body. There we go. Oh, why does it do that? End condition, blind. What about the start condition? Trim with start face. That's what I want. I think. Why can't I do this M7 1.5 or something? Does that make it bigger? Yeah, that's not what I want. Oops. 0.75. And why didn't this trim with start face work? Is this the face? It's pissing me off. Trim with start face. Is this not the start face? Maybe I do this. No, I have to do that. So annoying, dude. What are those crazy purple lines? That's like the preview of the thread. Why can't I make this 0.75? I don't know. What are these threads, man? I need like a fine pitch thread. Maybe I can do like an M4 thread. Why does it allow me to do that? That doesn't make any sense.